Hey guys, welcome back. I'm going to be painting the sides and the front for Alpine ski tonight. I need to sand this down really well because I need to get rid of the tape lines in the paint so that when I reapply black and then put the new blue down for Alpine ski, that it doesn't show through. Now, when I originally did this one for kicks, I screwed up the stencil and did it wrong, but it worked out good because I ended up finding a new kicks cabinet, a real one, so I will be doing that into kicks. This is becoming Alpine ski. So I'm going to go ahead and get to it. I'm going to take some 320 grit sandpaper on my sander and really sand this down well with the vacuum system to try to keep the dust down. And then we're going to get these 3 panels in the spray booth so that I can put the black on. Now, the front panel, I am not going to cut new stencils for the front panel because I can just simply tape off the gray and change that to blue and then re-clear the cabinet. So that should be really simple to do. So I'm going to go ahead and high speed record this while I sit here and sand all these 2 sides down in the front and get them ready for black base coat. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm sanding this down until that shiny edge is gone, until you don't feel it anymore. Okay, this clear coat I use is very, very hard. I'm down to 150 grit just to cut the clear down. So I'm going to finish this up off camera, all 3 panels, and then we're going to get it in the spray booth, the 2 sides, and we're going to spray the black. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I have the parts all sanded down and in the spray booth. I am going to blow them off, then I'm going to wipe them down with some spray away window cleaner. So let me blow them off real quick. I'll come back, we'll wipe them down, and then we're going to put the black on. Okay, spray away window cleaner and some brand new microfiber towels. Do not use washed ones because they will contain lint. Up the black as far as shook it. Now, the important thing is if you're using automotive paint like I am, I sanded through and broke through some areas. Now, usually that's not an issue when the paint is older like this stuff, but if the paint is newer, you want to put your color on thin, because if you put your color on thick, you run the risk of it lifting where you sanded through the clear coat. So just keep that in mind. We should be fine with this, but I'm still going to practice light coats just to be on the safe side, because I don't really want to have any problems with this. I just want to get it painted so that tomorrow I can put it back in the house And then maybe Sunday we can start putting the cabinet together. As long as I have time on Sunday. I actually got to check to make sure I still have the blue. Yeah, no, maybe. I'm sure I do. There it is. Navy blue. Summit Racing, SUM 344Q. Q means quart. We don't need that until the black dries. Black takes a good hour to dry before you can tape on it. So I will let it set for an hour after we get the black done. And then we'll put the stencils on, spray the blue, peel the stencils off, and put some more satin clear on it. This is just a 1-to-1 mix, 1 part paint, 1 part reducer. I just usually eyeball it. I'm actually going to use less reducer. That is another thing you can do when you're going over sanded through clear coat and you're worried about it reacting. You can lessen up your reducer, okay? It'll make it a little bit harder to spray, but the reducer will not be as aggressive as far as making it want to lift. I'm hoping we should be fine here, but like I said, I'm just going to take it easy, put on a couple light coats, and we should be good to go. Should cover pretty quick. Everything's kind of gray in color. So I'm going to get this ready, and we are going to get this thing in black paint. I grabbed the wrong lid. Sure did. All right, let's go out there and put a coat of color on. I'm actually going to use my tack rag just to dust it real quick. Okay, as you can see, I put on real light coats just to make sure. There's some areas that are showing like this, but that should cover up with the clear coat. That's what happens when you sand through. It looks like that, but once I clear it, that should all go away. So now I gotta let this set for the next hour, and then we'll come back and we'll start putting the stencils on it. Okay, I've got the stencils cut. I'm gonna do one on camera, do the other one off camera. Kind of a pain in the butt doing these things. Plus, stencil material is not the stickiest material, so it's kind of hard. It always tends to get a little bit of bubbles in it, stuff like that, but it should be fine. So we're gonna line this bad boy up. good. I like that. Just moved it, so that's great. That looks good. About 7/8 of an inch on that side. Definitely crooked. I think I'm happy with it there. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna double measure it in the back here. One inch from that line to the back of the cabinet. And the front is always a little closer. I like to get this straight. That's my most important part, is to get that as close as possible, because the arch to me is the most important. My knife blade is shot. I got another one here. Gotta make sure you hold the paper up in the air. Don't drag your knife on the paint. You will put a scratch in it. Save the piece of paper. I'll use that for the front. This stuff is called Aura Mask 813. I honestly, where did I get this from? Maybe Sign Warehouse? I have to look it up, to be honest with you. I forget where I ordered it from. I ordered it a while ago. I think it's, maybe it's not Sign Warehouse. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. Don't pull it really hard. Just kind of lightly pull it. I'm just lightly squeezing it just to get it down, and then I can go back and get it harder. It's okay if there's a little air underneath it. As long as it's not all around the edges, it'll be fine. I'll do the front piece on camera too. Show you how I'm going to tape it. Got a little bit of bubbles around the edges I got to work out. Ones in the center do not matter. Anything around the edges, pop them out. Just so that your paint doesn't go underneath the edges of the stencil. This looks really, really good. I got to remake the center of the R. Could not get that to come out. Did not want to come out, so I'll just take a little piece of masking tape and make a centerpiece, or a little dot for the center of the R. Not a big deal. So what I'm going to do on this one here is did I put my knife? I don't know where I put my knife blade. Put it on here. Yep. Wonder if I have some thin tape, those sizes. I should. I'll be painting part of this Porsche tomorrow, and hopefully the rest of it on Sunday on my other channel. Troy's Car Restoration and More, if anybody's interested in watching me paint the Porsche. It's a weird color. It almost looks like split pea soup. 59 Porsche color. I'm just going to leave the camera roll. I'm going to run and see if I have some thinner tape. Some 1/8 inch tape here for the very top line. Quarter-inch tape for the next one down. Then the one at the bottom is 3/8. I have 3/8, I think. No, actually, I think I have 1/2 inch. So we're just going to take the 1/4 inch and run 2 passes of it. I'm just going over the original tape lines from the old stencil. Man, I drank some water, went down the wrong pipe, and I've been literally coughing for like a 1/2 hour now. Ugh. I do have some wider tape, but the wide tape is very expensive now. It's like $13 a roll. So I have a bunch of this thinner stuff. So I've been trying to use this more. Got to use special tape for automotive paint. Because regular tape, the automotive paint eats the adhesive on the tape and makes it stick to the cabinet real bad. So that's something you do not want to do. Let's just go ahead and do this one on camera. What's it really matter? So I am just measuring the top on the other one is 1.25 inches. So I'm making this match. 1.25 inches on the top, 1 inch on the back. Okay. Beautiful. I still have to do this on 2 more cabinets. Kicks, and I can't remember the name of the other game. It's like Robotron, but Tato made it. Leave a comment. I cannot for the life of me remember what game it is, but I actually have the right cabinet for it. I picked it up when I picked up that Hyperball pinball game. I paid $50 for the cabinet. Cannot, for the life of me, think of the name of it. Actually, I have 3 of these to do. I still have that one prototype cabinet. So this, I just went ahead and videoed it all. At least then you get an idea about approximately how long it should take you to do this. Obviously, the more you do of it, the easier it gets. And once again, we're going to put the blue paint on, but we're going to put it on light coats. Just enough to cover the black. That's all we care about. And another good way to peel this masking off is to keep it low on the panel. See how I keep it real tight to the panel? Don't pull it up here. That will pull it off the paint and give you wrinkles and make it a mess. And don't yank it real hard. Just go slow. Just let it roll off. The thing is this transfer tape sticks better than the masking, the stencil material. Can't wait to see the paint on this. I like the blue on this cabinet. Beautiful. I think that game starts with a D. Man, I cannot remember the name of it. I'm not looking it up. You guys leave me a comment. Let me know what it is. Once again, I'm not worried about the bubbles in the center, only around the perimeter. Okay, need to make a little R center for the R. Just use a little bit of tape. Just kind of cut it out for what I think it should look like, and it'll be good enough. Good enough. All right, now we gotta mix up paint. Oh, Jesus. This paint actually gets a little bit of hardener in it. And you cannot pour the leftover back into the can. It's garbage. It only gets a little bit of hardener. Put a tiny bit of reducer just to give it a little bit thinner, and that should be enough. Once again, since there's hardener, you can't even put your stick back into that can or you'll ruin what's left over. So what I do is, it's a habit for me to take the stick and put it back in the paint because a lot of times I'm shooting base coat, which regular automotive base coat doesn't have a hardener in it, and you can put your stick back into the can. But I get into the habit of, if I know it has a hardener, I put the lid on it. Then I'm not tempted to take my stick and stick it into there. Anybody's wondering, anybody's new to the channel, you don't see me ever strain paint because the strainers are built into the lids. So I don't have to strain the paint. All right, I'm gonna get the gun and we're gonna get some paint on these. I have to go turn the heater back on and the fans and everything. And then we're gonna get this sprayed up. A couple light coats should be all I need. Before I put the blue on, I'm gonna tack cloth all the panels down just to get any lint or anything that's on them from the stencils off. Okay, I'm gonna carefully start peeling it off. It's not 100% dry. It doesn't need to be. Just dry enough so I can peel it, and then we're gonna put clear over it. So this is a little bit of a pain in the ass, but beautiful. That looks freaking awesome. Now I just gotta do it 2 more times. So my spray booth filter is really dirty. So it might get kind of cloudy in here with the clear, but I don't want to change it until tomorrow. Turned out good. Beautiful. I have two little tiny spots on this one, and I'll show them to you up close, and I'm going to touch them up with a little brush, and we are ready for clear. I mean, very, very small. 95% of the world would leave them, but I could just brush touch it real quick. A little bit right there, and a little bit of blue came out past the stencil right there. So I'm going to hit those two with a little brush. Go get it real quick. The reason why I'm just touching it up is because I already have paint. It'll only take me a second. That's it for the blue. These are just little tiny brushes. Very tiny. They're disposable, obviously. But once the paint dries, it'll look perfect now. You see that corner there? It just has to dry, and you'll never know that it happened. Same thing with here. The black's almost dry, and it took care of that. So, time to mix up some clear. All right, I'm using the Summit Racing Satin Clear. Part number is SUM UP205G. G stands for gallon. It's a 4-to-1 mix, 4 parts clear, 1 part hardener, and I'm going to add 10% reducer just to give it a little bit thinner. And I'm going to do probably 3 coats. It's a little yellow in color. That is the flattening agent in the clear that causes it to turn yellow like that. And you'll see me, I'm using a different spray gun for the clear versus the color. The reason why I do that is clear coat is the only thing that comes out of this gun, okay? Same size tip, same manufacturer, but this one is clear only. So by not putting color in here, if this gun is not cleaned thoroughly, and let's say you get a speck of silver metal flake and you go to put your first coat of clear and a piece of silver metal flake falls in the black paint, guess what? Now you got a shiny piece of metal flake in your black paint that it's stuck in there. So that's why I do separate guns for separate things. So I'm gonna get this stirred up. I gotta go turn the heater back on, the fan. Like I said, it's probably gonna get a lot of overspray in there because the exhaust filter is about done for. But I'll be cleaning the spray booth tomorrow and putting a new filter in and painting Porsche parts. So wait till if you guys are interested, you got to see this color. It is the weirdest color I have ever seen. You have to check it out on my other channel. Once again, Troy's Car Restoration and More. One important thing when spraying satin or matte or flat clear is you have to let the first coat 100% dry until it's all the same sheen, okay? If you have shiny spots and dull spots and you go to put your second coat on, well, that will stay like that when the paint job is done, you'll have blotchiness in it because you'll have areas that are wet and dry, and unfortunately it doesn't go away. So you have to really take your time with it, put a coat on, give it a good 10 minutes, make sure it's all the same color. It might take 20 minutes. It all depends on the temperature that you're painting in. Right now it is maybe 10 degrees outside, and I'm painting at about 85 degrees inside. So I always paint between 80 and 90 degrees all year long. I do that on purpose because in the summertime I don't run the heater, and a lot of times it's 90 degrees outside. Well, whatever it is outside is what comes through the spray booth. So if it's 10 degrees outside with the heater off, it's now 10 degrees in the spray booth. So I just mimic summertime in the winter so that I have a consistent temperature all year round, and you get used to it, and it just makes life a lot easier. When you're painting at 90 degrees in the summertime and let's say 50 degrees in the wintertime, that's a whole different ball game. Okay, your 10-15 minute dry time in the summertime, well, now you're 20-25 minutes between coats at 50 degrees. Can you spray at 50 degrees? Yes. Do they recommend you spray at 50 degrees? No. But it's a chemical reaction. It's gonna dry. It's just gonna take longer. But it will still cure because it is two chemicals put together. Once they're together, you have like a 2-hour pot life where it can stay in the spray gun before it starts gelling up on you. So regardless of temperature, it's still gonna dry. It's just gonna take a little bit longer. So let me get the gun hooked up and let's get the first coat of clear on. Pick it up on camera, but there are some spots that are shinier and duller. This is actually almost ready for another coat, but you can see a little blotchiness there, how it's like shinier and duller. You have to wait until it's all evenly smooth. If I were to go ahead and do another coat right now, you'll see that. So just let it dry. You know, with automotive paint, temperature is a big factor in what you do. And using the right products, using the right reducers, using the right hardeners. If you're spraying in hot weather, you gotta use slow, okay? If you're spraying in cold weather, you gotta use fast. Once again, I set myself up to use the same products all year long. Slow, I use slow reducer too. Everything, like I said, everything matters. Does this say reducer slow here? Standard reducer, temperature 60 to 77 degrees. Okay, so this can handle temperatures between 66 or 60 and 77. You give or take a little bit, but they sell fast, which will go down to like probably 45, 50 degrees to 60 something. And this doesn't say on here, but this is for high temperature. I believe it's 80 degrees and up. So I'm gonna let that set up. We're gonna put the next coat on. I don't know if I'm gonna do 3 coats or not. I don't know that it's worth wasting the money on it. I think I'm just gonna do 1 more coat and call it a day. The first coat went on really nice. The stencils look badass. I'm very, very happy with it. I think 1 more coat's gonna be all we need. While I'm waiting for that first coat to dry, I'm going to show you the color that the Porsche is getting painted. Now, this is a brand new paint line to me, okay? The paint company that I deal with, it's Premier Paint is the name of the company, and it's jobbers. So I spray high-end paint, low-end paint, whatever. Depending on the budget. Okay, now this is, I would call this medium to high end. Okay, it's somewhere in that range. This is a polyester base coat. Okay, polyester base coats hold up better than regular base coat. The polyester base coats are more UV protected, which means less fading. But when you have a clear on it, I don't really think that matters as much. It's a 2-to-1 mix rather than a 4-to-1 mix. This was bought out by a company called Spies Hecker, okay, which I've sprayed many a cars with. That stuff is a lot of money. You're looking at $1,300 to $1,400 a gallon. This is half the cost of that, and it's supposed to be as good as that. I have never sprayed this brand before. It's called Luma Base, and they also have a Luma Clear, which I am going to try next. My sales rep said, try this. I think you're really going to like it. We just started carrying it, and he believes in it because it's made by Spies Hecker, or Spies Hecker bought the company out. But tell me this isn't a wild color, guys. Is that not crazy? It's just weird. I can't even explain it. It's like a beige green. It's like beige meets green. So I'm excited to paint this. I think it's going to be pretty cool. I got to smell it. Smells like Spies. Yeah, so with this base coat line, it takes its own reducer, okay? You cannot use regular paint reducer. You have to use their reducer because it is a polyester base coat. It's not a regular urethane base coat. So, you know, all my other paints are urethane paints, which use their urethane reducer. Once again, I'm using slow, and on here, 80 plus degrees. So that lets you know, and working with a company that I do for all my materials, they know what I'm doing, they know what I'm spraying, they know how I'm spraying, they've been here, they've watched it, they've seen it. So it's nice once you get to know somebody because they know what you're going to use. They know automatically you want slow reducer, you want slow hardener, all that stuff. Yeah, I'm really excited to try this tomorrow. And I think it's going to cover really well just for the fact of the color of it, and I'm going to be going over a gray sealer. Okay, so let's go out there, get this last coat of clear on, and then we'll let it dry for a few, and we'll take a look at it. I'm going to put this coat on a little bit thicker. I'm going to go a little bit slower with the gun on this coat. See how the finish is completely uniform looking? That's what you want. All right, they've been drying for about 10 minutes. They're still a little blotchy, but for the most part, they're pretty flat. Looks freaking awesome. All the lines are nice and crisp. I got my little dot in the center of the R, turned out really nice, and that was just freehanding it with a little bit of masking tape. Oh, those spots I touched up with the brush, one's there, can't even see it, and the other one was over here in the corner. So, very happy with these parts. All right, guys, that's going to end this video. Next video on this stuff, we are going to be assembling the cabinet, bolting it all back together so that we can start getting this thing into a working game. Any questions or comments, guys? Feel free to ask. Please hit the thumbs up. If you guys are interested in watching the Porsche get painted, make sure you check out my other channel, Troy's Car Restoration and More. It's going to be a couple videos on painting it. I'm painting it in pieces. So tomorrow I'm doing the hood, the doors, the trunk lid, and a few other parts. Sunday I'm hoping to paint the body. All going to depend on how the weather is, how everything goes. I have to completely clean the spray booth tomorrow. I got to put paper on the floor. I got to change the filters. So I got a lot to do. So if you're interested, take a look at that. If not, I should be back on Sunday bolting this cabinet together, because that's I'm not going to have time tomorrow, more than likely, to do a video. Plus, I want to let this stuff dry for a little bit longer. Let's go check out one more thing real quick. Let's go check out the tumbler and see how those parts are looking. It's been going for about 30 hours now. That stuff is really, really loud. I have not checked it since yesterday about 5 o'clock. So it's almost 11 o'clock now, so it's been going for a while. But let's take a look. Well, the beads turned from green to gray, and they're looking pretty damn good, guys. Almost all the rust is off of this. There's only a tiny bit left. I did throw a couple leaf switches in here because the angle brackets were rusty. Here's a chrome piece, which is looking pretty good. They're getting there. I mean, it's still got some pitting. I'm probably gonna have to wire wheel that, or maybe even get a new one. I don't know. I'm gonna try it first and see if it works. I might, like I said, I might sand it just to smooth it out and see, put a new sleeve on it. The hardware is all turning out nice. There's no little particles in any of the Phillips heads or anything like that. So the only downfall is you can't strain this stuff. So I'm gonna have to literally pick out every single piece. These were really bad, and they're probably halfway clean now. They're getting there, guys. So I'm gonna let this go another couple days probably, and by then I would imagine it's going to look pretty good. So, all right, guys, I am going to go take a shower, get to bed, because I've got a long day in the shop tomorrow. Long day. So stay tuned for Sunday. We'll do part 2 of the Alpine, or the Alpine. Can't even think what it is. Alpine ski restoration video. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.